Okay, y'all, I'm back. We're still doing a little bit in the watercolor area here, and today I'm gonna try to show you how to make watercolor paint that you can use out of stone. There are certain types of stone, and this one may not be a good one. It's really hard to tell because I have not cracked it open with a hammer. Other types of stone are better than some. Not all is good for this process. This particular one here is how this dried looks once I have added the gum arabic to it. The gum arabic is the thing I have chosen to use as a binder. Where's my bottle? I happen to use this one right now because I had it on hand, and I've been making lots of paint. A previous video I did has shown the Pearl X and the Dollar Tree eyeshadows that I've tried. This one I'm going to try stone, and I'm going to show you. I had great success actually with this particular one. Little pieces have dried off and flaked, but I've had great success with the way that particular one turned out. On the other hand, some of the others that I have tried, this yellowy green one is very, very light, and it's still a little too grainy for my taste. This one, I made a whole crock. This is a mortar and pestle. I made a huge amount out of a stone my daughter-in-law brought me from the Appalachian Trail, and it pulverized beautifully. And when I put it in these pans and then tried it out on a piece of paper, I have to admit I was not a happy camper. I was so hopeful that it would look nice, and yet it really, can you hear that? It has so much, but it's close. It has so much grit left in it, but it's close. And so I got on the internet again, and I found out that I need to mull. This is something I have not done yet, is mull the powder so that when I mix the gum arabic into it, every little piece will be covered with this gum arabic. So from start to finish, there's a few processes to go through. And since I had such good luck with this one the first time, this red off my hillside, literally just outside the driveway, reach up the hillside and take a rock, pulverize it with a hammer. I got it down to chunks this big, put it in my mortar and pestle, and smashed it up. As you can see, it's already discolored from doing that, and got it into a powdered form. And so that's kind of sort of what I'm going to show you. I'm not going to pulverize a rock, but I use a cardboard box, like a cereal box. I put the stone in there, and I hold it shut where the box is open. I just push it shut. And at the base of the box where the rock is, I start just hammering it underneath. Excuse me. I must have inhaled a stone. It was in powder. But anyway, I just start pulverizing it. And when it gets, this about this size, so that I can use this next, I start pouring it into a little tray like this, or just whatever you have. If I had plastic down here, I would have grabbed the plastic instead of carrying my little ceramic things outside. But when I got this inside and pulverized it, that's the part here I want to show you. So I'm going to start with this one. My husband brought this one into me, and I haven't used it yet. He found it on the other side of the property in the backyard, on the other hillside. And there's dog hair in it. Ooh. Let's see. I'm going to give it a shot just to say I tried. There are fails, like this dark brown one here. And so I'm almost suspecting that this is not going to work, but I'm just going to give it the old college try. So see if I can get that in there without the dog hair. which I'm holding over here. I'm going to move this one out of the way as well. Already I think that's going to pulverize very easily. It's just coming apart as I'm trying to pick it up. So, excuse me, I just realized the camera tripod is sitting on that. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of give this some agitation down in here and pulverize this into as fine a powder as I can. And then I'm going to trade mortar and pestles and go to a smaller one that I have, the ceramic one. And I can see that there are different colors in here. So I don't know if he brought me dirt or if he brought me rock. I happen to live in the Cherokee National Forest in the Appalachians of Tennessee. And I have Native American blood in me, the Cherokee blood in me, from my ancestors. And when we moved here, that was a huge draw to me, to get to live in my native, area where a number of my ancestors are from. I have to tell you how excited I was to find this red color dirt on my own property, rocks, and get to use it, because it's just so much a part of my history. I'm just delighted to be able to do that. I hope I'm not shaking the camera. If I am, my apologies. I realized that it's on an old enamel table, the tripod is, and I might be touching it and moving it. After you do that quite a while, I still see way too many large pieces for me to want to use this exactly the way it is, but I'm going to go ahead. We're going to pretend. In fact, I'm going to see if I can't shake it down a little bit and then work with just the small powder. I poured off the biggest ones that I saw. Let's see what we get here. I'm not going to use a whole lot because I don't know what that's going to end up being, and I'm almost out of this. I'm going to get the largest pieces out. And this is by no means a method that I would say to spend a lot of money and time and effort on, because at this point I have not learned everything there is to know about this. But I might be able to figure out if this particular spot that he found this in is any good. So it's either gonna pass or fail in my book. This particular area of stone that he found. So I'm gonna add my gum arabic. In fact, it is so non-humid today. It's so dry. I'm going to add a little more to start with. The consistency I see here is very muddy and almost like clay. I don't want it to be that thick. I want it to be a little more free-flowing. And I'm also going to pour a few drops of water into this time. Clean water. Let me stir that up a little. And I want the gum arabic really to get into each part of this, so that the binding, which is a binding agent, so that it will be on each particle. Oops, that's what I said I wasn't going to use, wasn't it? And then I want to try to mull it a little bit. I do not have a professional mulling device, which is a glass muller They are a little expensive right now for me to just be trying this as a hobby that I haven't decided if I'm really going to do much with. So forgive me for not using a real molar. I read somewhere that somebody had used the cap of a bottle, a glass bottle cap. I happened to have one, so I'm going to try this. This is not an ink bottle or anything. It's got corker in it right here, and it's a stopper, and it does not have a bottle in my house that it goes in. I think I picked it up at an antique shop somewhere. Somebody had collected quite a few of them, and so they were all in a row on a shelf, and so I picked up a few of them years ago. But this might come in handy. I think at this point, because it is all as saturated as it's going to get, and extremely lumpy, this may not work. This may be, like I said, a huge fail. It sounds horrible. And this is not something I'm going to continue with. But I'm at a point, actually, which to me is exciting, because I'm just going to test out the paint. Let me find my old paintbrush here, which I know I had because I used it. You know, when you use something, you set it down and you don't see it again, you just really start wondering what happened to your brain. Well, that's where I'm at. Not on the floor. Okay, I'm going to get a different one then. That's a very old one there. I'll use it. Still don't see it. Okay, I'm just going to swipe some of this off. I'm going to add a little bit of water, because now I just want to see, is this going to, even if I were to get it all mold down, is this going to be a possible paint? And yes, I'm expecting it to have a lot of grit in it, because I can't get it all down on camera. I would probably use more of the larger mortar and pestle and really get it more pulverized before I even brought it back to a little one. Do y'all see what I see? Oh, except for all that mud looking stuff. But as a watercolorist, what I'm seeing is potential. If I were to get this down enough, and now I've put a lot of water in just this one little area, I'm seeing some really beautiful color, and it's totally different than that one, which I'll show you in just a second. Look at that. This has potential. Sorry, babe, I didn't think it was going to be that good. It's a translucent, it's not an opaque. This has a lot of potential. I'm very excited about this. So I'm gonna put this in something so that it will dry. At that point, I can repulverize it. And I need to remember that this also has some gum arabic in it, so that I can come back to it and make it into a finer powder. If you're going to try this method, I would suggest that you have enough water at hand that you know is going to get cloudy and nasty. So be sure you have enough water on hand to help clean up and stuff. I'm real excited about that. Let me show you the red one that I did out of this one. Let me get a different brush. I still can't find that other brush. I'm going to use some of my old ones that are staying here. So old, I haven't used them in years and years. This one is a red, pardon me, that I made maybe a week ago, and it's been sitting and drying. It is not, and since it was the first one I ever did, it is not as mold down and happy for use as I would like to see. But isn't that a pretty color? I had very good success with my very first try at this. And I think that's why I kept trying. It too is a translucent. You can see through it. It makes beautiful, beautiful color. It's a reddish. With these two colors, I can do a whole lot of earth elemental painting, especially here where I live, because I have the mountains just right outside the window. So I get messy. I do splatter a lot, y'all. I make messes, but I have a fun time. I hope y'all have a fun time. I'm shaking the camera. I am sorry. I hope you'll have a fun time if you try this. Let me show you this little green one real quick too. This is the one my daughter-in-law got me off the Appalachian Trail up there. And this one I thought was a little too grainy, and I'm very light. I have a problem seeing this color as being a potentially good color for use, but I do want y'all to see what I mean. There is some pigment to it. It's a very coarse feel. When I run the brush over it, I can actually feel like a sandpaper feel to it. Therefore, I would suggest you not use very good brushes for these types of paints. Do not pull out your Rembrandts and your good stuff. Don't get that's about as dark as I think I can get that. Kind of makes you wonder if I can get anything off of that. That paper just bit the dust, but anyway, I am just not getting anything off of here. So I would call this one a fail, unfortunately. I really was hopeful that it would be a usable color, but I'm getting very, very little pigment out of that. So this last one, I'll go ahead and show you all this brown that I made up. It too is extremely coarse, and it is very dark, and it may just be a matter of me getting the mulling right on this and getting it more fine. I'm right on the very top of this. Well, look what happened. Huh? Y'all, I'm excited. I was going to throw those out. This came from the Appalachian Trail. My daughter-in-law brought me this one. It's a pretty brown. It's very similar to this one. Oh, look at that. My husband he may have heard me do that, so he may come and investigate. You okay? But look, I wonder if all the big stuff fell to the bottom of this as it dried. Oh yeah. Oh, it's good. It's good. It's a little bit on the darker. This is more of on the orangey side, and this is more on the redder side. But this is a brownish, translucent, good color. That one's good. It goes back in the good pile. After all, I'm glad I made, y'all look what I did. I made so much of it that that's the one I said I had filled that thing up with it. So that's a good one after all. I may break that all back down and pulverize it some more, because I know down in the bottom of it it's very, very grainy. But that's a very good color. So I have lots of potential. Sorry, he just threw something down the chute. And I have lots of potential here. Just right here where I live. I'm very, very excited about what is sitting outside my door. You know what I mean? So check and see what's sitting outside your door. It may not necessarily be in a form, I don't know the right words. in a form where you can actually bust it up and it will disintegrate. I have pieces outside that are granite, and you cannot bust up granite with a hammer. I'm telling you that. So check what you have. The process was real easy. I did it with the stuff I already had on hand, which was the gum arabic, and then I just crushed up stuff until I got it fine enough that I could actually test it like this and see how it turned out. Now I know that I may actually invest in the right type of mulling device and a piece of marble or something. I think I have some upstairs from the kitchen. But didn't that turn out nice? I hope y'all are excited about this kind of stuff as I am. Natural resources used as craft products just kind of excite me. And see, I didn't have to pay for these colors. And they're colors that nobody else has right now. I would assume, at least not anybody I know of, unless you happen to be doing this type of stuff. I hope you enjoyed it. It was just a fun little way for me to kind of mix a little with my heritage and find out what I could do. And because I like to play with watercolors and mix colors and do stuff like that, this was just kind of right down my alley. So that's what I have for you today. I hope you liked it. If you have any questions, holler at me. I'll be happy to try to respond. And I'll give y'all a link to my Amazon affiliate there, where I get a lot of the stuff that I'm using. The mortar and pestle and the little plastic jars. You can also pick up these little plastic pans online. And if I find a mortar and pestle from there, I'll put that on there too. I don't think I will. And then my other art supplies are mostly from Cheap Joe's Art Stuff out of North Carolina, which is just across that line right there of mountains. I hope y'all enjoyed this. I enjoyed it, and I'm really excited about what I was able to figure out today about these colors. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.